Okay, so what I have in this box is a diesel heater. It's a 2 kilowatt. I've ran a lot of these in different little structures and things and campers. And this 2 kilowatt seems to be the magic little heater, just because they are very fuel efficient, put out plenty of heat, and they're compact. In this video, we're going to be installing it. It's getting cold out, wet out, it's fall. We're going to install it over here, go through the floor. Found over the years some of the 2 kilowatt and 5 kilowatt heaters you could wall mount through the side as long as the glow plug was up. Doesn't seem to be working very good with the last few 2 kilowatt heaters I bought from different companies. So we're going to try this one out. Simple, I didn't want any Bluetooth, no nothing like that on it, simple controller. Gonna drill some holes through the floor, mount everything, and get this thing going so when we're working in here it's nice and warm. I'm already kind of wet from moving tools around and stuff. Alright, let's get working on this. So this is a pretty standard kit you're gonna get. You got your heater here, you got your combustible intake, your fuel line right here, your exhaust right here, and your bolt pattern to bolt it down. This is where your air comes in from your structure, goes through a heat exchanger, which is that aluminum thing in there, and blows out this side. Fuel pump, got your mounting plate, control panel, got a remote control, got a big fuel tank. This is your inside cabin air, hot air tube. It's flexible, and this is your intake for your combustion. This is your exhaust pipe, muffler, fuel line, bunch of hose clamps and accessories, little heater grill, and your wiring loom with the fuse built in. Really simple. So we're gonna get installing this.
About this time of year, my garden was growing, and I had not a fear of anything that could take me away from anything that could take me away from anything.
Alright, little update on the heater. This is just temporary, just get the heat blowing out of this little tube. It's going to be mounted in a bench, but got the heater on. It's on medium right now. Got hooked up yesterday. It was just pouring down rain, so I did not show hooking the diesel tank up outside and the muffler and all the exterior stuff. Right now with 4 LED lights on and the heater running on mid, it's running about, well, looks like it's fluctuating about 37 watts. Working pretty good. It's so nice to heat this place up. Pretty good system. Here's the controller. This one's kind of weird. I didn't want one with a little speaker on. It talks with you. Heater on, heater off, goodbye. Weird things like that when you push a button. But these Chinese heaters, they're always changing controllers. Some are easier to use, some are more difficult to use. This one's fairly straightforward, but they all take a little bit of practice to figure out how to use them. This one I got manual right now. There is between heat output between 1 and 10. I probably wouldn't go under 5. Or they can start sitting up if you run them like that. So that's maxed out. The heater will start ramping up now. This is an air intake through the heat exchanger. So the combustion's always done inside a steel container. Looks like a little motorcycle cylinder head with heat fins on it, aluminum extruded or cast. Nice hot air blowing out of this thing. But we're gonna be just running this thing at probably about 5 or 6 today. Plenty of heat for working in here. I got a little bit of lack of massive rain. It's really foggy outside today, and so what I'm going to be doing is putting this piece of wood up, just trying to do something before it starts pouring down rain. I gotta go back to work tomorrow, so gonna get this thing mounted up here and then probably jump over to the ceiling, start putting some cedar up on that today until it starts to downpour, which would be nice to get this stack of wood out of here. finally got the ceiling finished. Pretty cozy in here. I got the diesel heater running, kind of medium temp. Got my sleeping bag and pillow up here. Gonna be the first night I've actually sleeping in the little cabin here. Still want to do more of a divider, a little bit more of a railing here, kind of a little mini wall. Put some cedar trim up over here to finish this off. Still have to trim off some of this, but yeah, it's pretty cozy. So this board represents the last board for the loft floor. I left it uncut because I wanted all these boards to kind of get used to the environment they were in. They came from kind of an outbuilding into here, so I wanted them to kind of shrink, push them all over. I still got to get some finishing hardware to mount them all in, and this guy can be tapped into there. So now I'm just gonna get some finishing screws, and I'm gonna start walling this little section off. Maybe do kind of a cool curve right here. Now here's a little rant. Stopped by Harbor Freight because I knew my toolkit's been picked over some stuff. There's still quite a few bits in here, but I wasn't sure if I had the extra small square drive in here anymore for the screws I use for the loft. Turns out I did, but I always go through these bits. I went and stopped by Harbor Freight, picked up a new bit set in case I need a certain one out of there. I figured I'd rather have it. These things, I thought I remember paying like 15 bucks. This thing cost 25 after tax. I mean, that's getting like, I would think that's around along the lines of Milwaukee and DeWalt and stuff like that. And yeah, they're decent. They've held up fine, but Harbor Freight, come on, man. That's kind of pushing the envelope. Might as well just buy a DeWalt at that one or Milwaukee, man, because I couldn't see them being much higher than 25 bucks out the door. Little rant. Got to determine if I'm going to paint it like a off-white or leave it wood with the wood floor. Wood ceiling, I do feel like a little cream would be nice on the walls, but it is really nice high grade plywood, so if I just went over it with the stain or a clear coat, it would look nice as well. So got to determine that, but I think it just might be a little bit too much wood with wood trim, so I might keep little sections like that clear coated up there in the triangle and then do cream, or maybe I'll do that, put some wood trim and do cream up part way and then clear coat later. I don't know, time will tell. Man, oh man, every time I work with that boiled linseed oil, the smell just kind of reminds me of doing woodworking all the time. It's a nice natural finish. It just richens up the cedar really well. It kind of brought a nice shine to this paneling in here too. Pretty cool to see the grain on it. But the cedar just richens up. I'll probably do the whole bunk, top and bottom, because the spots I got it on, it's just so much darker and nicer looking. But I want to do a little divider wall here, so before I do this bunk, I want to get some boards laid in here. Alright, so I got the whole bunk linseed oiled. Still need to do the ceiling. Got a nice warm rich color up here. So these boards came from by my mill. They had some moisture on. They'll probably shrink a little bit, so I need to let those dry out for a day or two. But this whole beam I'm going to go through with linseed oil. It's going to really make the colors get really rich and pop, so get to that next. So I went over all the little brad nail points, put a little wood putty on there. Now this may or may not, this is kind of pointing no return. I'm going to put some primer on the walls down to the 3-foot line. My plan is I already have to trim out the locations like this and around the windows with some old growth cedar. I was gonna put a piece of trim here, might do like a clear coat down below, that wainscoting kind of a look, because I figured the white would get scuffed up, and put kind of an off-white cream up above, just because we got wood ceiling, wood floors, wood walls. I think break it up a little bit. I think it'll show off the wood a little bit better by taking away from all the wood. It's basically a big wooden box right now, so point of no return as soon as I put this roller on here. But hey, live and learn. Now, I'm sure you guys are saying, Mike, why the hell are you using a 4-inch roller on a big wall? It's a rainstorm outside. It's like 9:30 at night. Cozy in this little cabin, and I'd have to put on my shoes and go out in the rain and walk up to my shop, which is a little ways up a hill, and go get all that stuff. I just don't feel like it. Take a little more time and get in a zen moment here and roll. It's a small wall, small cabin, small roller. It should work fine. Now, this is just primer. It's pretty harsh, stark white, but the off-white I got, it's a satin. I think it'll look good. The question is, I've been looking at it for months with this paneling on. Will I like the white? Can't go back now. So it's the next day, and I have to say, I'm all right with the white. This is just a primer layer, and I may still do that clear coat down below with a piece of border wood on it. Honestly, just more work. I kind of want to get this thing done. But I'm gonna lay this is probably enough for a primer coat here. And I might go on with the main paint here and see what it looks like. And if I'm happy with it, might paint the whole walls. We'll see. Probably keep that triangle up there, wood color, to match the one up there. Just kind of a little bit of balance there. All right, lay a regular coat of paint on here. This upper section, see how it looks. So here's the color I picked out. It's kind of a white, a little bit of a, I would say an almond hue to it. Picking out white colors would be, it seems like it should be simple, but some have a yellow hue, some have a green hue, all kinds of different stuff. I wanted something that was gonna look warm still. I know it looks a little too almond to me, but hey man, paint's ridiculous these days. For 2 little roller inserts, 1 can of primer, 1 gallon, and 1 gallon of paint. I think that's all I bought was $99, no, $101. That's ridiculous. What the hell, man? Why is paint so expensive now? That was mid-grade paint too. That's nuts. All right, we'll time lapse this and bring it back when it's upper portions painted. So far, I like the look. It's got a little bit of a eggshell to it. This should be a satin is what I got. Well, it looks a heck of a lot better than the primer. When I first rolled the primer on, it's like, well, it's different. But it kind of felt like a little bit of a mistake, but that was primer. And I got this color on here. It probably won't represent very well with the white balance on the camera, probably not being accurate. But yeah, looks pretty good. I can only imagine just a little bit of strip of cedar on here, a strip where the seam is and in the corners. A really dark, rich colored cedar around the windows, and then the lighter walls. I think it's going to make it look good, especially in really dark points of winter. It'll be more comfortable, because up here the loft looks great and it's all linseed oiled, nice and rich, and it looks fantastic. The whole cabin like this would just be like you're in a little wooden box, and I think that kind of breaks it up, gives it a little transition. Like I said, that's going to stay wood probably up there, although painted out might look pretty good. I mean, I'm digging the paint so far. It looks nice on the wall over here. That's still primer on this side. So that's a stark white right there. There's the color. I may go all the way down too, I'm not sure. Just want to test out this theory with the wood strip on here and then clear coat the base of this, but honestly that looks pretty good to me. Well, I picked up some polyurethane. It's water-based. Didn't want to be flying high. Non-water-based, oil-based stuff. I've used a product very similar like this in the past for floors, and it worked pretty good. So even going to the store, picking this stuff out, I was questioning why the hell am I doing it, because it's just more cost, more work, but might as well try it out and see if I like that lower part clear coat with the satin and the upper walls white. I really think the walls all the way down would be good, but never know if this is gonna look good until you try it out. So we're gonna jump into this. So I know this camera's not gonna pick this up very well, but the finish on here looks pretty nice, super smooth. It's a really nice veneer, but I just don't like the look of it with this. It's not gonna pick it up on here, but you can almost see some variation of this little, almost a grid pattern of, it's not for me rolling. I know I didn't supposed to roll it, but I used a foam brush over it. But it just brings out something in the veneer that just doesn't look right. You get up close and it almost looks like synthetic wood now. I'll keep that water-based polyurethane for some other project. I'm just gonna move ahead with my gut instinct and do the walls all the way down in white. Well, all right. Had to try that out before I decide to pull the plug on that finish. I know it's still drying, but I don't like the look of it. It just left a weird, so brought out a blemish in the paneling that just doesn't look right. You look close at it, almost looks like a blurry, cheap printed on veneer looking wood finish look. I just don't like it. The stuff I did up in the loft looks much better with linseed oil, just richened up the wood and just made it look a lot better. But I'm not gonna go mess around with linseed oil on all these. Same with this, they would richen it up quite a bit, but I may linseed oil the cedar ceiling, which will darken it. So I think I'm gonna just paint this out white. Keep in mind, the camera does not do it very justice. I tried to adjust the white balance on the camera, it didn't do much. This is much more light off-white rather than the yellow you're seeing. So I'm pretty happy with the walls, so I'm gonna paint them all the way down to the floor and then start laying on some nice cedar trim around here. All right, guys, until next time, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Take care. Bye.